But there was once when I lived in St. Lucia and I was doing single track training on a mountain bike, and I came around this sharp bend, and there was this massive boa constrictor, this fat passing through, and I was just in awe with this thing.
In awe?
In awe, yeah. There's something powerful. And I've slept in construction sites, police stations, I've slept in drains, and I had malaria. I mean, that was insane. I ran out like 2 o'clock in the morning, like a spinning top, every orifice, like, whoa. I sound like a mad monster in the quiet of the night. Anyway, you get approached by like officials, and they just act a little bit sort of like you got a challenge, like a thing, and they don't really then want to hustle people that are, I've tried that and it worked very well. The guy just said, go man, just go, keep going. And it's like this Madam Zunga on his bicycle.
Today on the show, we're joined by a South African adventurer, motivational speaker, and humanitarian who has turned extreme endurance challenges into a platform for inspiring change. From cycling Cape Town to Cairo to running thousands of kilometers across Africa, he shows us how courage, determination, and purpose can transform personal challenges into meaningful impact. Welcome, Gaven.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm very excited.
It's awesome to have you here. I feel like we should be getting our steps in while we're doing this interview.
No, don't worry. It was my job. It was the only job that was available, so I took it. Extreme endurance adventuring, yeah.
I love it. So, Gaven, your name is synonymous with epic adventures. That's what everyone knows you for. What was the spark that made you leave the ordinary behind and chase the extraordinary?
Sure, I don't think I'm ordinary anyway. I mean, like growing up with ADD and dyslexia, you have your struggles to navigate life growing up, but I was always drawn to physical challenges, sports and stuff. And I grew up at a very young age. I realized that I was struggling with something, and it was ADD at the time and dyslexia, which I didn't understand. And I thought I needed to take control of what I could control, which was my physical ability. So I started to excel, do well in sports and stuff. And I've always been an adventurer as a kid. I mean, I used to race BMX and motocross and stuff. But I got to a point in my 40s where I was not feeling inspired. Inspired. I was disconnected. I promise you, living in my skin was the most uncomfortable thing growing up in that. And I just wasn't comfortable with who I was as a person. Wow. And I was so lost and disconnected. And I really needed to do something and feel connected. I wasn't in a good space. I didn't enjoy working. And I just thought I need to do something epic for a good cause. And the idea came into my head, well, get on a bicycle and cycle to Cairo. That should do something, and find yourself through that whole process and do it for Mission Control South Africa. So that's kind of where it stemmed from, being demotivated, not connected, disconnected, not enjoying life, hating my life, drinking too much alcohol, and I just needed a shift in a new direction. I thought, bugger it, get on a bicycle, let's go for it.
That's beautiful, though. Like, what an incredible turnaround.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I can tell you many, many stories about that process in its own. But, yeah, you definitely come back a changed person.
That's beautiful. I love that. And how do you measure success?
Sure, success. Okay, so success does not come from winning. It actually comes from your struggles. And I say, if you're not failing, you're not trying, because the more you fail, the more you'll succeed in life. And it's interesting, there's this little survey done about what makes a world champion in sport, like running or a 100-meter sprinter, or regardless of their craft. What makes a world champion to somebody who's not a world champion? And they did the survey and they asked world champions around the world, like why are you a world champion? And firstly, some of their personality traits that came out was tenacity. They are driven, and they embrace failure, and they actually embrace failure on a daily basis to help them be able to craft and sharpen their skill at their discipline, and that's what makes them world champions. And another thing that came up was they all said the same thing, was self-belief, and what they said was, before they became world champions, they already knew they were going to be a world champion. So it's about belief.
Yeah, and your mindset.
Mindset, yeah, sure. And you know what? You don't have to have it all figured out. You know, just take that step. Courage and belief are two very key things in success. So you don't have to have the whole blueprint out. You know, just take that step forward. Have the courage, and things you'll figure it out along the way.
That's great. What do you feel has been the most important lesson that you hope people would take from your story?
You know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, and what your struggles are, if you have chronic disease or conditions, whatever it is. If you have that, you know, that cliche, the why, find your why, and sharpen that, and focus on what you really love doing in life. I think if you can do what you love most and stick to that, and if it resonates with you, you know, gravitate towards it. But anything is possible, but that's if you want it, right? Like we can all say, yeah, I want to lose weight and be in shape, but you know, you've got to do it. Action and saying are two very different things. But I think you just got to love what you do, right? That's 100%. The main thing. And I guess do it for, you know, and do something where it actually helps humanity, and you whatever you're doing, there's a purpose that helps change the world in a positive way.
Yeah, when you're doing things for others, there's something extremely humbling and rewarding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a little thing about I researched a little bit of what makes a Navy SEAL, and to me, these are the most epic warriors. I mean, Navy SEALs, to get into a Navy SEAL, you know, the one guy was asked, how do people get nominated or into the Navy SEALs? And he says, well, I can tell you who doesn't, and it's the guys with the big muscles and the big tattoos and the scary-looking guys are the guys that don't get in. Mm-hmm. But it's the guys that are the skinny, scrawny little guys that are shivering with fear, tend to always make it through and get chosen and nominated. But the interesting thing is, through all that, the one take-home is, when these guys are at their lowest low, they always find deep within themselves the ability and the courage to help the person to their left or their right. And that's something in life that you can really take home with, is the lesson of learning to help each other along the way. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people, go with each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys that fear it as well have the determination to carry it through, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And helping each other to get through it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could take one ordinary South African, I know you're extraordinary, but let's say someone like me who's ordinary, on a cross-country adventure, where would you take them?
The Earth, the planet, it's a living organism. I think it's the most beautiful thing, no matter where you go, what country you go to. But for me, I love jungle, I love danger, I love the desert, I love the extremes. But Namibia, I mean, the places I've gone to through Africa on a bicycle, and I would go to the most remote places, off-grid, not the mainstream tourist attractions, and go live in a little village, in a little hut, and experience local tradition and culture. What
do you find you learn when you're experiencing things like that?
Humbles you. You become grateful. You grow. You get over your little shenanigans about, you know, your complaints, and you get to see like life is actually fantastic, and we complicate things too much. And I've learned so much traveling through Africa, and I'll give you this quick little story. This truck, by the way, I almost died every day going to Cairo, and the reason why is the truck and the vortex when trucks pass you, because sometimes the roads aren't wide enough. But anyway, so this truck passed me, and I flew over the handlebars and I blew the back wheel and whatever, and I ended up next to a little village, and this old man in his like 90s sent this guy to the local baraka and bought a little bit of glue and stuff. I'd run out of all my repair kits. And he sat there, and I couldn't speak to him, but there was a younger guy who could speak English, and he fixed the wheel for me. And understand, for them to go buy a little patch and glue is probably like 2 weeks kind of weeks food income.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful that I gave the old man money and he had this reaction and I thought I offended him. So I asked the younger guy, and he says, no, what you've just done is you've helped this man not have to go physically work every day in the field for a month with the money you just gave him.
Wow.
So it's such beautiful, humble stories, and it's the connections along the way. And I'd like to ask you a question. What do you think would be important, the destination or the journey? What do you say?
The journey, for sure.
Sure. What if I said both aren't as important, but the connections along the way, along your journey towards your destination, is making those connections.
I haven't thought of it that way.
Yeah, so
I like that. That's cool.
So that was interesting. But for me, you get to respect and appreciate things. Like, at times I smelt. I think, a swarm of flies followed me for a few days, like on my bicycle. I stank so bad. I'd come into these little barraccas to get, just by the way, in Africa, there's two things you can always find. Do you know what they are?
No.
Coke or beer, regardless. Doesn't matter where you are. Under a little tree, you'll have a little piece of advert or a little piece of wood. Beer, Coca-Cola. That you'll find that anywhere. No
so
matter
you stank so bad, but at least you had your Coke or your beer.
But it's not
hard to believe because you smell so good right now. By the way,
thank you. Yeah, it's not guaranteed that you'll always get a warm beer. A cold beer and Coke, but you can always find that through Africa.
Okay. Interesting. What I have to ask, what was the most bizarre thing that you ate along the journey?
Interestingly, I ate very well because, a lot of the stuff, it's not really sprayed and it's organic and it's grown locally. But fruit and, you eat a lot, you eat whatever you want because you're burning so many calories every day. But because you're on a bicycle and not in a 4x4, you are going to pass every little village. And there's always a little thing going with coals, and they're making food for the locals. So there's not a lack of food, but things like they call it chips mahe, which is just basically fried chips, and then they crack 3 eggs, and then they make like a pancake kind of thing with the fried chips, and that would be something to eat.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't say I ate roadkill. I wasn't that desperate or like I was really starving stuff. Oh, mind you, in Lake Turkana, I almost died, and I was like gesturing to these nomadic tribesmen with these beautiful, they had this most amazing tribal attire that I was like, water, and they gave me like these kind of pancake kind of things to eat, and their water is not clear water like ours. It's murky, but it's safe to drink. And this one guy taught me how to find water. And one night I actually slept under the stars with him and his family. We couldn't coerce. He didn't understand English, but he invited me to his little hut with and his wife, and I pitched my tent, my bicycle, and I don't know what we ate, but under the stars, just so many beautiful connections. And it's the connections that make it memorable, just by the way, when you do these things. And it's those memories and those moments with people.
Wow. Okay, so earlier you spoke about the fact that you're quite fearless. How are we with snakes?
Snakes. Yeah, look, I picked one or two up, and I've been to like the zoo and stuff, but if it's green or black and it's like one of those poisonous ones or spitting cobras, I'm definitely not going to, I've got a thing about snakes and really big spiders.
Yeah.
I think I'll take a lion over a snake
I say the exact same thing and people just don't get that, but honestly.
Just take me out straight away, but geez, I am a little bit skittish when it comes to snakes and things like that. But there was once when I lived in St. Lucia and I was doing single track training on a mountain bike, and I came around this sharp bend, and it's high brush on both sides, and the path was about that wide, and there was this massive boa constrictor, this fat, passing through, and I was just in awe with this thing. It was, it was incredible to see.
In awe.
Yeah. There's something powerful about seeing a python in nature.
I suppose it's like quite a majestic experience, but...
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, and when things go wrong on the road, like there's bad weather or gear failure, how do you stay motivated in moments like that?
Well, so if you're going to prepare to do something like cycle from Cape Town to Cairo, firstly, I just said I'm not cycling to Cairo. You form a invisible grid from Cape Town to Cairo. it becomes modular. So your brain doesn't think in, I can't think of this word now, but basically you break it down into each day is all you're focused on. You're not worried about the next day. And of course, after each stage, you then do logistics, talk to locals, planning, social media, and whatever it is. But cumulatively, you shut out cumulatively thinking, meaning you shut out distance and time, and you go into a robotic state of mind. So sometimes when you're running or swimming or something, you can very easily become robotic, and you just do that over and over. Then you come into it like, and it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm dying, I'm mad, I'm crazy. Then you go out of it and you go back into it. But when things go wrong, you deal them because you've already dealt with them before you leave. So you basically reverse engineer your finish line. So just like Formula One, the guy visualizes the track, the turns, he walks the track to understand it before he races the race. So what you do is reverse engineer it. So you imagine finishing the finish line, you're like a hero, and then you just reverse it in everything: killed, shot, died, diarrhea, malaria, been hit with a bullet or a spear, a puncture, shout, swear, get drunk, and then you come back and then you realize, okay, I've dealt with everything, and I always say this is, what's the worst thing that can happen? I can die. Okay, and then you get over it. Then you get on with it and you go for it. But then you're like, I'd rather die doing what I love, right? Like, I really don't want to die behind a laptop. I'd rather die like trying to climb a mountain or something, go out that way. But when those things do happen, you are flexible and you just sort it out. And I'll give you this little story. So I had this bicycle, a loan bike, when I left Cape Town, and then I upgraded because then the media started to follow me and I started to get a little bit more interesting and coverage, and this guy sponsored me a new bike, but it was the wrong size, and it's very important, the frame size based on your height and all that for like the whole thing, the geometry of you, otherwise it'll be uncomfortable. But and then I rode on Cairo Mouth along the beaches to Coffee Bay, and then obviously the bike got wet through with seawater and all that, and I didn't really lubricate the bike because 13,500 kilometers, you need to service your bicycle at least like once in that whole distance. So anyway, the crank seized and the ball bearing seized in the wheel, so I realized I'm struggling to go forward, and then all of a sudden I just heard ding 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 ding, and all the ball bearings in the back hub thing fell off the back wheel. I was like, and I think I must have been in Malawi, and in Africa there's either a picky taxi or a bicycle taxi, and there are lots of bicycle mechanics in Africa. So I looked at all these ball bearings rolling past me, and I thought, okay, that's a problem. All right, don't have grease, don't have ball bearings. So choose Bob's. 2 seconds later, this bicycle mechanic with his wooden handmade toolkit box comes out of the bushes, out of nowhere. Like, can you fix my bike? No problem. I've got ball bearings and grease. And it's like, what's the odds, right?
It's like the Hunger Games. It's just like, place the right
exactly the thing. To have the courage, take that step forward, and things will open up as long as you are going forward, right? And what's the odds of this? I just popped out of nowhere, and he's just coming from his home, going to work. Well, I'm your first customer. And he had my bike, I was back on the road. So
what are the chances?
And if things, I got chased, and people tried to throw rocks at me in one area, and there were some delays. And in Africa, they are their initiative to just fix things and take nothing and make a plan with it is just amazing. I had things welded and redone, but you just got to be flexible, positive, and I always say, good or bad, every day is a good day.
Wow.
But I'm not saying
what a journey.
I'm not saying I'm always a positive person. I can throw my toys, and I also have my moments of doubt, self-belief, and insecurity. That's normal, but get over it and then just move on with it, all right?
Absolutely.
Have your cry, blow your nose, and then go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Afterwards, you're always like, okay, everything's going to be okay.
Hey, that's quite cool. The hardest part of doing these challenges is, they say, getting on the start line, meaning before getting sponsors, doing the training, the build up, like I'm mad, no, I'm mad, no, I'm not mad, no, I'm mad. And then, but once you're on it and you start, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love life. It's like, oh, look at Africa. Look at the baobab trees. And it's like, oh, it's just bliss. I'm very much a loner, so I can just very easy. I'm wired that way to go and do something like that in Africa and just not. Yeah, there was one place in Mikumi, in Tanzania, Mikumi National Park, which you'd normally drive through, and it said there'd be danger, 50 kilometers, dangerous animals. So, and I remember this bus of Chinese people like taking photos, and they all looked out the window, and here I'm riding a bicycle, and they're like thinking like, there's dangerous animals there, but there obviously I don't think was cat in that area, but yeah.
And these journeys raise awareness for causes like chronic illness. For example, how do you balance endurance with advocacy?
Yeah, so if you're going to plan to like cycle or swim or run or climb or whatever the case is, and it's something, of course you want to do something for a while, for a cause, and if you can raise money and awareness for like a organization or chronic fatigue or disease or for child trafficking, whatever it is, of course that's a nice add on to the cause, and you can add value to what you're doing. And of course it's about you also personally seeing if you can achieve this and like get home in one piece or two pieces, or do you make it? Now you're gonna lose a finger, like okay, I can do the next challenge. But I guess for me, it's just kind of giving back a little bit. And there's probably a bit of pressure to finish what you started, because like you tell everybody on the TV and the radio, oh, I'm going to cycle to Cairo. Oh my God, I'm going to get there. Like, will I make it? Do I have money? And like, where am I going? And like, oh my word, like a data. And it's like, you just, like I say, it's modular, and you just focus on each day, because you can imagine you're in the saddle for like, I don't know, 150 Ks, depending on the stage, and you get to your place, and then it's like, okay, no problem, I only got 12,500 Ks to go, like another 6.5 months, like you'll lose it, honestly. So you just focus on that. But yeah, it helps to do things for a good reason.
Were there moments where you didn't feel safe while you were sleeping, or?
Yes, you do, because Africa's loud. Even if you're in your tent or you decide to book yourself into, they call them rest wells. You don't rest well.
Yeah.
It's so noisy. It's like chaos. It's like people, the walls are so paper thin. It's like, it's loud, right? And fatigue is one of the biggest challenges you have.
It's almost like you've exhausted yourself the whole day cycling, and then you get to your destination, and then you're just so tired, but then you can't sleep because...
And you sleep with like one eye open. You pitch your tent. I remember when I was leaving KZN, there was this little stretch there. It was kind of an embankment and the highway, and I thought, okay, let me just go up there with the banana trees. I literally broke off banana leaves, and I like there was a concrete wall, and I put my bike there, and I took my mattress out, and I like covered myself with the banana leaves, and I like kind of slept in the corner there. And I've slept in construction sites, police stations. I've slept in drains. I remember one morning, night, waking up like this thing. I must have been the hugest monster, but it was probably like a little rat that ran past me. That woke me up. I remember when I was cycling to Cairo, it happened to be New Year's Eve or Old Year's Eve or something, and I was in this rest well, like if you just looked at the mattress, you just didn't want to lie on it, kind of thing. It was so manky, and you had this broken mosquito net and whatever, and this guy with these two women, like they were obviously partying outside, and there's chaos and gun firing going off, and these oaks broke through my door, like, whoa. I was like, hey, and there's times where it is so hot that you literally sleep in your underpants, and you dip your towel in the bucket of water, you rinse it, and you put it over yourself, and at 12 o'clock at night you wake up and your towel's dry. That's how hot it is in some places. And then then I had malaria. That was insane. I ran out like 2 o'clock in the morning, like a spinning top, every orifice, like, wow. I sounded like a mad monster in the quiet of the night. Anyway, I booked into a place, and thank goodness expats, they knew what the problem was, and they helped me. I was there for like a week and a half in bed,
Sounds like you're describing a whole movie to me here.
Yeah, no.
How has there not been a movie made about
and
all
then
this?
these guys in Sudan try to like hit me off my bike with stones, and then of course then you could deal with a bit of like corrupt cops. They try.
What did you do in that?
Interesting. Because I actually once phoned. I got hold of a guy that had done Cape to Cairo before, and he said to me, "Enjoy every moment, because before you know it, it's literally at the end." And I actually was putting on the handbrake, going, "I don't want this to end. I don't want to go back to reality." And just by the way, these things, when you come out of them, you go through a depression, because then you're back to the four walls again, right? But they said when you get approached by like officials, and they just act a little bit sort of like you got a challenge, like a thing, and they don't really then want to hustle people that are like got a twitch, or you like have a speech impediment or something, and they're like they don't, so I've tried that and it worked very well. The guy just said, "Yeah, go man, just go, keep going." And it's like this Madam Zungo on his bicycle, and they genuinely do leave you alone because you look like a maniac on a bicycle. But I mean, it's like Cape to Cairo, for instance, has become a highway of like Europeans and South Africans and people all around the world just trying to. It's like the alchemy. What is it? The amino acids. You're right. In Italy, the Camino walk, whatever. But that's become such a popular thing. People on bicycles and motorbikes and stuff traveling from Cape to Cairo or Cairo to Cape Town. So you see the most bizarre. I thought I was nuts. So I met this Danish oak in like one village. This guy was cooked. I'm telling you, he had like flags and he had neon and like things on his handlebars, and he had this like.
This came from Africa Burn.
No, this guy was like, he was crazy. And I remember him saying he loves butter. He puts butter on his skin, he eats butter, he loves butter. But and then I met this beautiful couple from France. They were in their 70s, and every winter they get out of France and they go on their bicycles and they choose a place and they cycle for like a month. How amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's very
nice.
beautiful.
So I've had some crazy experiences, man. Tell you.
So Gavin, you spoke a little bit about the depression that hits when it's all over. What advice would you give someone that feels like they're in a bit of a dark space?
I guess if you're in a bad space and you feel depressed or like things aren't going your way, I just think you got to just find something that makes you feel positive, like, I don't know, a hobby. I mean, I love gardening. I mean, one day I'm a painter, I'm a plumber, I'm a pool man, I'm an electrician, I'm a mechanic. So, I don't know, keep yourself busy, find a hobby or do something that you might be interested in, friends. Get out there. Nature is a healing. It's the best place to go. Go for walks, go for hikes, go for trail runs. Exercise is key. You got to move. Exercise helps you feel better about yourself, and it does definitely charge your batteries. I would say go do some exercise in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
say that also being around water for 20 minutes just immediately calms you.
It does, because we're in such white static noise. Everything around us today is, the fourth industrial revolution and the fourth cognitive revolution, the internet. I mean, we like overloaded, like TikTok, like fast. It's like you need to just slow down, go into nature and chill and enjoy things. And I definitely do think exercise, nature, friends, support, doing what you love, and just doing nothing at times, because life is hectic.
That is.
It's fast,
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the butter story is amazing, but if someone had to make a comedy movie about your adventures, what part for you would have been the most hilarious?
Sure, the most hilarious. There's so many. I mean, like reporters would go, so this one reporter said to me, I know this is not going to be funny, but I sent them my email address, which was Gaven Pedals it was for missing children. So the reporter reported me thinking Pedals was my surname. So Gavin Pedals, he's cycling. And then this one reporter says Gavin is cycling from Cape Town to the Karoo. And then it's like, but funny things, I don't know, Oh, yes. So when I first started riding, right, the cycling bib, it's padded for the oaks, and. So I first started like riding with that, right, and then I would come to the villages and like these kids and even the adults, they would find my outfit the most funniest thing, and I would be irritated, like dehydrated, hungry, sunburnt, and like. I'm thinking I've lost the plot and maybe, and then I've got all these people laughing at me. I'm supposed to be like a Spartan, on my horse. And these kids, they're like, look at you. Fine. And then so I thought, no, I'm going to put my shorts over my bib, my riding bib. So that takes that out. And just you pull in like your mzungu and the kids love you. They mzungu, and they run up to like from when you pass. So like the highway in Africa is just like a sand road, and there's just plots of locals with their little huts and homes. When they see you, the kids love it, and they run to you, and it's always like sweets. But yeah, sure.
And you're like, I'd love some.
Oh gosh, you know what I love seeing when you said about what have I learned about in Africa is I watched kids. Their game would be is taking stones trying to hit the mango. So obviously they have mango trees, right? And so they've plucked the ones that are the lowest hanging. So the higher ones they've got to get you. So they play games like trying to pot the mango, and it's just basic things like that. I think just going back to basics. I think we've complicated things a bit too much.
Absolutely, and those are the things that we take for granted on a daily basis.
I mean, just go run. If you're feeling depressed so early on, just go run. I mean, you don't need to know how to run. It's like, don't buy a running book because it tells you all the things do and don't. You get so confused, like, oh my God, like what must I do? Like shoes, like what to buy? Just run, and but to make a comedy out of it, I don't know, the malaria thing was funny, I guess, and all that, but
feels like a whole movie could be made from your journey.
Yeah. My island swims in Mozambique, and half dying, thinking I'm going to get bitten by a shark, and then my leg cramps, and I've got like this TV crew, STV Mozambique, filming me on this dhow, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to let everybody down, and there's media here, and there's doctors on the boat, and like I can't finish my swim, and I almost died a few times because I can't swim, honestly. I turned on my back and I kicked. I'm useless at swimming. Wow. I'm not like a dolphin, like in the ocean. I don't swim, so I decided, what can I do? I've run, I've cycled. Okay, let's do a swim. So got that out the way very fast.
But an adventurer through and through.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy challenging myself, and I enjoy being out in nature, and just it's those connections along the way. But depression, I think we're all experiencing a lot at the moment. It's not natural, and I just think get out, nature, and exercise, and eat right. Eating is important as well. You'll be surprised. You think you're eating healthy food, but just look at the labels. There's stuff that you don't even know and there's probably nothing wrong with you, but there's things that are making you feel a certain way,
Absolutely, yeah. So what's next for you? Another adventure or something completely different?
I'm in a relationship, and so I've got to be a little bit respectful and mindful. Like, when I was single, I could go and maybe not return, which is okay, but there are other people to consider. But I would love to do a row across the Atlantic or the Pacific. There's the toughest row where you can do something with a teammate or something like that, where it's over a few days or whatever. I'd love to just go get lost by myself out in the ocean and see if I come back, kind of thing. Or do like a summit, but
the ocean thing for me.
No,
that's like a huge fear.
It's my biggest fear.
Ew.
Like, honestly, the darkness of the ocean and how deep it is, I respect the ocean completely. And then you have these freak waves that just, tidal waves that just appear out of nowhere. Like, that kind of thing. But maybe do summit. I'd love to summit. But to put your name down for Everest, I think 980,000 Rand. That's without travel. And there's no guarantee in these kinds of things. So if you do decide to do an Everest expedition and you get to base 1 or base camp, and the weather's bad, that's it, they cancel, you don't get a refund. So there's lots of pros and cons to things. But I'm also wanting to do the 6-day slack packing along the Wild Coast, where I take people. I've piloted it. It's been something on the back burner for the last 2 years, where I do 6-day slack packing with people along the Wild Coast, and you follow cattle paths and on the beaches and kind of stuff like that. That's another thing. And I published a book, so just trying to keep myself busy. But a summit or a row, that would be great.
Amazing. That sounds great. And one of the things I also wanted to ask you was how long was the prep time for the Cape to Cairo?
Oh, no, nothing. I just got on the bicycle and rode. My butt was sore for when I was 12. When I was 12, I used to do road cycling, and I used to race BMXing, and with my buddies, we used to go out, do out rides from Somerset West to Hermanus, and have way too many drinks, and then cycle back with a hangover. And we did mountain biking and all that. And then there was a period where I didn't. But I mean, you condition yourself slowly, you get stronger every day. But I do generally have a general level of fitness, like being a runner for many years, and no real prayer. I just got on road. I remember the day I left, came out of a studio, and I was like, it was raining, and I was like, I cried. I thought I've lost it, and oh gosh. So I told people publicly I'm going to Cairo, so I guess I've got to go to Cairo now on a bicycle. So I thought I got over that, but the butt was like, I swear it was like I was in pain for like a month and a half, and then you break into the saddle is pretty much what they call it. Then your legs adjust, and then. But there are times where I had to push, like on the highways. I mean, I took a different route, so I went from Cape Town, Muizenberg, like Durbs, and like through Ponta. I mean, those highways in a car, it's like a gentle, incline. But trust me, on a bicycle with pinions and your paraphernalia and all your tech and all that, it's quite a push, and then you get fitter along the way.
I have to say, you're one of the most intriguing human beings I've ever met.
Oh, wow. Thank
And
you.
I could honestly ask you another 100 questions. But and keep this going. But we're going to take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors that are part of the exclusive. So one of the amazing things that you've just said to me, which I would love you to just say to our listeners, please will you share it with us?
Yeah, I guess like a little take-home message would be is, make every setback count, every challenge count. Only you decide who walks away the winner, no one else. You are someone who will not be defeated. If you're physically or mentally exhausted, keep going. If you get knocked down, get back up. Do it alone, do it broke, do it scared, just do it. Just do it, whatever it takes. You're okay.
And if there's anyone to feel inspired by, it's you.
Thank you.
If you can go from Cape to Cairo, you can do anything. So thank you so much for joining us, Gaven. It's been such a pleasure having you here.
It's been super
Hope
cool.
to have
Thanks
you back
for the
soon. And thank you to everyone listening at the bowl. We've loved having you in the mix. Stay excellent and keep it sunny side up.
And on that farm he had an egg.